greens. You do that at the, when they're close to being done. Because if you do, in particular with collard greens, what it's going to do is it's going to make them tough. They won't be tender like you want them. Now we're going to take our salt pork pieces, throw them right in their hole. These are really good, and they're nice and crisp now, but they are going to cook down. And you always want to save yourself just a little bite. And that's good and salty. Give this a stir. And this water does kind of cook out kind of quick, so you got to keep a watch on it. There we go. And what we want to do, I have a surprise for you guys. Let me turn this burner on back here and get that hot. I'm going to add just a little bit more water. Not much at all, because we are steam frying. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this to the back burner of the stove. Because now that we got our collard greens cooking, we got to have something to put in those collard greens. So for that, we're going to make us some fried cornbread. I got my cast iron skillet right here. Our pan that we use all the time, just about every day. And we're going to make us some fried cornbread. This is a good thing that goes with collards. Some people bake cornbread and stuff like that, but this is what Granny made, and this is what I like, so this is what I'm going to use. So what we're going to do, like I said, I don't measure nothing. We're going to say, I'm only going to make a little bit today. That's probably about 1.5 cups of cornmeal. It does matter what kind of cornmeal you use. And since I can't say the name of it on the show, I'm going to say it's in a brown paper bag looking thing, and it's medium ground. You can't miss it in your grocery store. So make sure you buy it in the brown bag of the white cornmeal. And while that's heating up, get our pan hot and get us some oil in it while we're frying. Southerners fry food. We don't eat like this every day, but when we do eat it, it's delicious, and that's why. Over here I got an onion we're going to chop up, because you got to have some onion in your fried cornbread. Some people call it fried onion bread. It's going to take probably about 1/2 of an onion. Don't need much. Sit it out of the way. And you can cut it up fairly small. Just get it diced up. Just a small cut. Cut it kind of thin. But this is really going to bring just a lot of flavor to it. Alright, just like so. And you can kind of come across it. Make sure you got it cut up really good. Alright. That being done, we got our cornmeal over here. And we're going to add, I'm going to bring this up here, we can see it better. We're going to add some salt to it, and you really need to salt it. Probably about 1/2 teaspoon. Because if you don't, it's not going to have any flavor to it. It's not going to taste good. Pan's getting hot. We're going to add some fresh cracked black pepper to it. You don't have to use the fresh cracked. I like it because it's bigger pieces of pepper, and I like black pepper just about in everything. So we got a good amount of pepper. Now we want to take our onions and just go ahead and just stick them in there. Just like so. There you go. Get every bit of that onion in there because that's good stuff. Alright. I got some water. 12-ounce glass. Minus about, what, 1 ounce. So we got 11 ounces of water here. I doubt we'll use. I'll go ahead and mix your onions and your salt and pepper and your cornmeal together to get it evenly distributed through it. There you go. And add your water. A little bit at a time because we don't want to add too much. If you do put too much, so put some more cornmeal in it, thicken it up. So, and what you want to get is you want to get this where it's going to stay together, but where it's mixed good. Kind of want to get it like a little bit of a loose Play-Doh kind of texture. Just like so. Make sure you get all that cornmeal in there incorporated really good. That's just about right. And what we're going to do, we got it good and mixed. You can actually, a lot of times this is warm water because it's cooled off. I like to use hot water when I do this. It doesn't really matter, but my preference is hot water. I don't know why. Anyway, we're going to come over here, make sure our grease is hot and it feels like it is. And we're just going to get you a little spoonful right here, put it in some clean hands. Make a little ball, flatten it out just like that. Just like you're making a hamburger patty. That simple. And just lay it gently in the grease. And we're just going to fry it. They don't have to be perfect. That's a good thing about them. Just want to make a patty out of it. Just like that. It's kind of like a glorified hush puppy. But better. So, just like so. I'm going to make that one a little bit bigger. I don't want to shortchange nobody. And particularly me, who's the one that's going to eat it. So, there we go. And we're just going to let that fry. And we're going to come back here in just a minute and we're going to see how they're turning out. Alright, we're going to check the cornbread and you can see that it's getting kind of golden brown on the sides. That's a good indication that it's ready to flip. So let's flip it. Be very careful not to burn yourself, and look how golden brown that is. My grandmother would be proud. Granny Webb made some good cornbread. And we're just going to do it like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And it's only going to take, because this side is already brown and it's been there for a little while, it's only going to take just another minute or two and we're going to have that done. So we'll check on it here in a minute. Alright, I think it's probably going to be about done. Let me give it a check right here. When it's golden brown on both sides like it is, and you got you some done cornbread. Let me grab my plate right here. And we're just going to pull it up. And we're going to put it on a paper towel to absorb up the oil from it. You want to kind of drain off in your pan just a little bit. It's nice and crispy. Got a good crust on it. And it's just going to be delicious on the inside. Right there. That's how it's done. Look at that. It's going to be really, really good in our collard greens. Alright, we're going to turn this off. Now, the collard greens have been cooking for probably about 20 minutes. And so when we come back, we're going to go ahead and start getting it ready to be finished. Alright, the collard greens are very, very close to being done. It takes about 45 minutes to actually cook them. And they're good and boiled and got a lot of juice in them. They're doing good. Check that out. But what we want to do at this stage, now we're ready to season them with some salt and some pepper. And a special secret ingredient that some people don't know about. So we'll start with our salt. Probably want, I don't know, a good amount of salt. You want your greens fairly salty. You don't want, this is a salt shaker, so it seems probably like put piles of salt in it, but it's really not for a whole pan of collards. But you want a good amount of salt, and you want a good amount of black pepper. And you want to do this after they've already cooked down and they've gotten tender and stuff. Because remember I said if you put it too early, they won't be tender. They'll be kind of tough and won't be as good. Good amount of pepper. And you season it to taste. And if you don't like salty food, don't make it salty. But if you're going to serve it to people, you should cook it right. There you go. So we're cooking this on high the whole way. So in about 45 minutes, it'll be completely done. Now, you'll find out, put a lid on that just for a minute and talk to you so you can see what I'm telling you about. You'll find out that with collard greens, that sometimes, especially depending on the time of year that you get them, they can be a little bit bitter. And you can help relieve that bitterness from when you start to get them prepared by putting them in the ice water. Because if you take, or you can put them in the freezer overnight and kind of like freeze them and just let them get a frost on them, and that helps tender them up and make them kind of sweet tasting, which is what you want. But if you're in a pinch like me and you don't have time to do all that, you always do the ice water because it does help with the sand as well. But you take a pinch of sugar, and some people like sugar in collard greens. It doesn't taste sweet like a candy. It just takes the bitter flavor out of it, which is what you want, so you're actually tasting the collard green and not the bitterness. So we're going to put a pinch. You may ask, how much is a pinch? A pinch is 3 fingers and your thumb. So you 3 fingers and a thumb, 3-finger pinch. You stick it in there just like so. Alright, you know, a little bit for good measure. That is a 3-finger pinch, knock the rest of it off your hands. And that is just going to make them taste absolutely delicious. And you do this right before they get done. And it's going to go through and just kind of clean out that bitter flavor. So you're just going to have some good old-fashioned collard greens. People have told me that I make old lady greens. And in the South, that's a compliment, because the old ladies that they refer to are our grandmothers and other people's grandmothers that reminds them of. So the fact that I make old lady collard greens makes me a very happy person. So we're about ready to serve this up, so I'm going to go ahead and plate it, turn this off, and we're just going to have some great food right here. So I got my plate, and you can have collard greens as a side dish. You can order yourself a bowl of collard greens if you want to, and just eat them with your cornbread. So that's what we're going to do. So we have a nice, pretty bowl right here. We're going to get our collard greens up and get us some of that meat in there. That's totally fine. Now I gotta tell you, I am not a drinker at all. In fact, I don't like to drink just about anything. But I will tell you, I do like liquor. I like pot liquor. And if you don't know what pot liquor is, that's that juice right there from the collards. This is good old-fashioned Southern pot liquor. And it is delicious for your cornbread. And you want to make sure you have plenty in your bowl for your cornbread to sop it up. And that is going to be delicious. Got your cornbread right there. And that just looks great. But hold on, we're still not ready, because there's one more thing that makes Southern collard greens so good. And that is pepper sauce. You got to have it. It's a hot pepper. It's actually Tabasco peppers and vinegar. Gives it just a little bit of kick, but not so hot that you can't eat it. So you put yourself some on there, and there you have it. Collard greens and cornbread. You can eat just like this, like a normal person, or what I like to do is I take my cornbread and I crumble it up and I just stick it all in there and eat it all together, and it's delicious. So I hope you enjoy your cornbread and collard greens, and post and let me know how it turns out for you, because you'll be making some of the best collard greens you've ever eaten. Y'all have a good one. Bye.